Tata Motors has just made its boldest move yet. On July 31st, 2025, Tata announced a $4.5 billion all-cash deal to acquire the truck and bus business of Italy's Iveco. This is Tata's largest ever transaction, instantly transforming it into a global commercial vehicle powerhouse. The deal is funded by a $4.5 billion bridge loan from Morgan Stanley and MUFG, with plans to repay it in 18 months through equity and long-term debt. Tata's own truck and bus division just posted record profits, fueling this aggressive expansion. By acquiring Iveco, Tata will triple its commercial vehicle revenue, reaching 22 billion euros annually, rivaling Daimler and Volvo. The acquisition gives Tata a major foothold in new markets and access to Iveco's advanced technology. Tata aims to bring its frugal engineering to Iveco's European plants, while introducing Iveco's products to India. This two-way synergy is expected to create significant value. Tata has also committed to keeping Iveco's workforce and factories intact, ensuring a smoother integration. The Iveco deal catapults Tata into Europe, with the region now accounting for half of its commercial vehicle revenue. Tata instantly gains access to Iveco's established dealerships, service centers, and brand recognition, assets that would have taken decades to build. The acquisition also opens doors in Latin America, where Tata can now leverage Iveco's distribution to introduce its own vehicles. This move diversifies Tata's revenue and reduces dependence on the Indian market. The real prize is R&D. Tata and Iveco will combine their strengths to accelerate innovation in electric, hydrogen, and connected vehicles. This positions Tata to compete head-to-head with global giants like Volvo and Daimler. The increased scale brings bargaining power, manufacturing efficiency, and the resources to invest in next-gen technology. For India, it's a moment of pride, proof that an Indian company can lead in a complex global industry. Tata's leap sets a new benchmark for Indian corporate ambition. As Tata expands, India's seafood exporters face a crisis. On August 1, 2025, the US imposed a crippling 25% tariff on Indian seafood, threatening a $7 billion export industry. With existing duties already high, the new tariff pushes total taxes above 40% for some products, making Indian seafood uncompetitive. Exporters can't absorb the cost, so prices will rise for US consumers, slashing demand. Shipments worth Rs 500 crore are already en route to the US, but it's unclear if they'll face the new tariffs, creating chaos in supply chains. The industry, which supports 20 million livelihoods, is at risk of collapse. A glut in the domestic market could crash prices and devastate coastal communities. The entire value chain, from fishermen to processors, is in jeopardy. The tariff shock threatens to unravel years of economic progress in India's coastal states. The new US tariffs put Indian seafood at a severe disadvantage. Competitors like Ecuador, Indonesia, and Vietnam now enjoy much lower tariffs, making their products far more attractive in the US. As Indian exports plummet, local markets will be flooded, causing prices to crash and incomes to vanish for millions. Processing plants, major employers in coastal regions, face shutdowns and mass layoffs. The social and economic fallout could be devastating, reversing years of development. Exporters are urging the Indian government to negotiate with the US for relief or delay. Diversifying to new markets is a slow process, offering little immediate hope. The industry braces for contraction, with millions of livelihoods at stake. The crisis highlights the fragility of global supply chains. For now, India's seafood sector faces an uncertain and painful future. While seafood reels, other Indian export sectors remain steady. Electronics exports, including smartphones and laptops, still enjoy zero US duty. The auto parts industry, exporting $7 billion to the US, faces a 25% tariff. But it's applied globally, not just to India. This creates a level playing field, sparing Indian suppliers from targeted penalties. The US is selectively targeting sectors like seafood for maximum leverage. Electronics and auto parts are too globally integrated for new tariffs without hurting US manufacturers. The episode shows how trade disputes impact sectors differently, depending on their global integration and political sensitivity. For Indian policymakers, it's a reminder to understand the nuances of each export sector. The seafood tariffs are more than economic policy, they're a diplomatic bargaining chip. Imposed just before key India-US trade talks, the tariffs are seen as leverage by the US to extract concessions. An interim trade deal is expected soon, with hopes the tariffs will be lifted in exchange for Indian concessions in arms or energy. The negotiations are high stakes, with the fate of an entire industry hanging in the balance. India must balance protecting its industries with nurturing its US partnership. The outcome will shape Indo-US trade for years to come. Tariffs are now tools of foreign policy, not just economics. The seafood crisis is a stark example of how trade and geopolitics are intertwined. Amid trade turmoil, India's tech sector is quietly transforming. Global Capability Centers or GCCs are booming. Multinationals now set up their own tech hubs in India, bypassing traditional IT outsourcers. Last year, GCCs grew 40%, adding 100,000 jobs, while top IT firms barely grew and cut staff. GCCs now employ nearly 2 million in India, handling high-value work like AI, analytics, and cybersecurity. The shift is driven by global firms wanting more control over digital projects and by automation reducing routine outsourcing. Legacy: IT firms must adapt, moving up the value chain to compete for sophisticated work. The rise of GCCs is both a challenge and an opportunity for India. It cements India's status as a global hub for digital talent. As trade battles rage, this tech evolution may be the most important story of India's economic future. The world's biggest companies are betting on Indian talent for their most critical work.